I've been watching the median price, and every day I go into the MLS and I run the stats, which show me the median price. So today I'm here to tell you that the median price went back down to 400,000. Yay! It was up to 405 the first week of August, and now it's back down to 400. So that's good news for everybody, especially the buyers and people who are trying to qualify. And in my stat sheet today, at the bottom, I went into Bankrate this morning and I did a $400,000 loan, 10% down, over 30 years, and the interest rate was 3%. And that's a principal and interest of 1517. And then with taxes and insurance, it's about 1846. So, you know, we're still cheaper than, just about cheaper than renting for that same house, which is cool for the first time home buyers and for people that are downsizing. And our inventory dropped as well. So a little bit of activity going on in the market right now. We were up to 27 days. Now we're down to 26 days. And I noticed that we only listed 18 or 86 single family homes yesterday. Hi, Karen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We so appreciate it. Good morning. Anyway, we only listed 86 homes yesterday, and we put 101 under contract. So that brought our inventory down. The 25 of the homes that we did list yesterday were under 400,000, and that gives us about 1,035 single family homes that are 400,000 and under. So that's, you know, those are the remarkable things that are going on. When you look at the non-owner occupied, we're still hanging in there about 31%. People are selling, or I should say investors are buying 43 investment properties a day. So I don't find that, I don't see that changing. And like we said yesterday, the big guys are buying the casinos. So I think we're in good shape there. Any comments?
No, I think that's good. You know, I'm curious. I know you have some things you want to get out there, but I'm curious about, you have a lot of properties under property management.
Yes.
And the conversation keeps coming back around. I keep hearing it, gee, when they finally end this eviction moratorium, are there going to be a lot of properties on the market? And I have a thought on it, but you have a lot of properties and a lot of owners. What is your feeling on that? You can talk about it later if you want. That's the question I have today.
Well, good. Well, actually, we've been very good about our owners working out payment plans, and you have to stay on top of it. And, you know, property management's not a real lucrative business. So, you know, you have a lot of properties, and what I see is people have had a lot of properties. They can't call 400 tenants, you know, they can't offer things perhaps where we have a more manageable number that we manage personally. And it takes 3 people to do 100 properties, right? So
is your sense, though, that the owners are not going to bail? The owners are not going to sell?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I think the others, when you bring that up to me, you know, I do the non-owner occupied sales. I can go in there and see how many are free and clear. Because that's the other thing. A lot of our rentals here were bought back when we had the foreclosure crash. Right. And so a lot of them paid cash. So there's a lot, I know that there's a percentage that are going to be hurting, but I don't think that's the majority.
Okay.
That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But I will look up and see how many of those non-owner occupieds are free and clear. I think that would be an interesting statistic, kind of to give a barometer, so to speak, of where we're headed.
Yeah, I keep hearing that the investors are going to bail, and I haven't seen really any signs of that except, you know, panic among the chicken coop. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. I look up. Oh, where's Henny Penny when I need her? Foxy Loxy's coming. I don't know what's going on here, but it seems to be the agents are the ones that are concerned about it, not the investors. That's my perception.
Yeah, and I know a lot of our investors are free and clear, and they worked out payment plans, and you know, most of these people, like I keep saying, they didn't buy recently. You know, they didn't buy 2 years ago. They might have, but I think that's a small percentage of them.
Right.
The larger percentage of, I think, the owners out there bought a long time ago. They have a lot of equity, and they're going to, they have to pay, if they have a mortgage, yeah, they're going to pay it because it's an investment.
Right.
So I kind of feel that's the mentality out there too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you made me think of something. Now I forgot it.
Well, I just know how competitive it is to get a rental property still. You know, if you're a tenant and you're trying to find a rental property, it's still ultra competitive there. You know, Jack's looking for a place and he's been running into, 8 applications, 4 applications, 9 applications. And, he's a good guy and he's been paying his rent on time, but he maybe doesn't have as much income as some of these guys where there's 2 families working or 2 family members working. He's got 1 income instead of 2. And, he's stable, married and all that kind of stuff, but he's not the best candidate. So he puts in applications, he spends the application money and he doesn't get one. And how many times can you do that and not just deplete your reserves?
Yeah. This hasn't happened yet, but I think perhaps it might happen in the future. Or I would suggest that perhaps we all do this. Let's say that 10 property managers use this system called Appfolio. Mm-hmm. I would suggest that Appfolio as a company, and I might give them this suggestion, that they don't charge that tenant that applicant more than one time, and maybe some type of a fee, but not the $70 to $80 fee.
Yeah.
Because, and I did talk to Jack myself, and I told him, I said, you can't just get 1 application and take it. It's not fair to the owner. You have to at least do 3. I said, but in this market, 1 out of 3 should be, a good applicant.
Right.
And
right.
When I hear that people are taking 10 and 12 applicants, I don't think that's good for our industry.
Well, and right, you said once they run their credit once, if Appfolio runs their credit hasn't changed in a week.
Yeah.
If you're making 4 or 5 applications to try to get one, to charge you $70 every time or even more, it's even $70 a time. If you make 5 that's $350.
Well, see, Appfolio charges, of course, us to run it, mm-hmm. right? So they're making money. So now they're double dipping.
Right.
That's what I see the problem is, that these companies are double dipping. And
well, the perception it goes to the property manager. So if it goes to Appfolio, it's not the property manager not even getting wealthy on this thing. It's Appfolio. Exactly.
We maintain a portion of it, of course, because we have to get paid for our time.
Right.
But they're getting. When you think they've got over 6,000 properties in the United States when we joined in 2014, so I would imagine that's got to double. They probably have 10,000. And I know a lot of people in Las Vegas use Appfolio, so I think that's a consideration. Yeah, but I'll make a suggestion that they do something like that. Maybe they don't get their fee, but the other property manager who has to spend the time, gets gets whatever they would net, mm-hmm. and Appfolio just takes. I mean, why do they have to run it again, like you said?
Right. Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So yesterday, Jimmy, we talked a lot about Facebook and all the activity and like there were 2,200 people running ads, and the video ads are getting the most action. So what I've seen the past 3 months is I went from getting 3 to 4 leads a day. Yesterday I got 24. The day before yesterday I got 27. The day before I got in the 20s, and the weekend I got in the 20s. So people are clicking on these Facebook ads, and I know that now you can text video people, and that's what we talk about. Mm-hmm. You get their phone number, so just do a text video. And we said, I don't know if you saw the other day. We had a class, and Eric Hudson brought up a good point in our social review class. He says, when you do the text video, this would say, hi, Jimmy, sorry I missed you.
Yeah.
Glad that you reached out to me on homes in Las Vegas. But this grabs their attention, and you have to be careful that you don't put it where the little triangle is, where they click the video.
Yeah.
So you put it up here, you know, and if you're getting Facebook leads, that's the best way to respond to them.
Yeah, that's very personal.
Yeah, and they see it. They you know the person, you know, because otherwise it's just a phone number that appears at the top of the screen. So when you reach out to them and say, "Hi, Natasha, you know, sorry I missed you. Thanks for reaching out about Las Vegas homes. And here was my other suggestion. If you want me to send you some more homes, please text me yes. If not, you can opt out by texting me no." That way you eliminate the people who really just clicked on the ad just to see the video,
right? Which
happens.
Sure.
That's, yeah. And these are unqualified leads. So you need to, I think that's the first step in qualifying them, is asking them the simplest, fastest way possible.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that, but they're jumping, they're just really, I don't know what Facebook is doing. I don't know if it's just that much more traffic, but for it to increase sixfold is immense to me. I mean, I'm spending less than $1 a lead, which is amazing. And I know Sandy had a fantastic video, and if she was working those leads and sending out that video in a text message, I can't believe she wouldn't get some action, because she did a superb video. I play it all the time for people.
I'll reach out to her again and ask her what she's done. I know she just closed the transaction, so she's, you know, so she's able to maybe invest some money in her business right now.
Well, just invest some time. Just tell her to do this. You know, you can say, you can do this, and then she can play the video below it. I mean, there's so many things you can do. People just need to think a little bit outside the box of and not be afraid to make, you know, people are afraid to pick up the phone for some reason, but you shouldn't be afraid to text a video.
Yeah, she's not afraid to pick up the phone. She'll make the phone calls. She's pretty ambitious. I'll call
her. A lot of other people aren't.
I'll call her today.
Okay. All right. So today I'm just going to give some Facebook tips. So are you ready?
I'm ready. I got my pen.
All right. Okay. So let's see. Tip number 1. So I'm going to talk about Facebook, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on Facebook. So I'm going to share with you some tips. So first of all, create a content plan, because as much as, you know, I love social media, you keep hearing me say this, it's rented ground. They could take it away at any time if you think about it, you know, and there have been so many things going on, you never know. So you need a content plan that you can repurpose. So create this plan and think about it. Facebook loves video content, which means when you put video content up on Facebook, you're going to get more engagement, more likes, and more interaction, and generally more business. So I encourage you to think about a weekly video plan that you can incorporate. And you might also put that video on YouTube or LinkedIn or Instagram. So you've got this great idea. You're going to repurpose it to other platforms. Specifically for Facebook, getting a content plan together, especially a consistent plan, is really, really important. And in our class, we show a chart where most of the people that are on Facebook are over 30, and they make over $75,000 a year. So they're people that, you know, can buy a home. So pick one day a week that you're going to upload your video to Facebook business page. And so you can do a video on your phone, you know, go out there and, you know, go into a neighborhood and show where you're going to hold an open house, or whatever your consistent video is going to be. You can talk about a house that just was listed or whatever, or you can give people tips on inspections and what's an escrow, whatever your message is. You're going to reach, you know, people are going to listen to it that are interested in it. So don't worry that everybody's going to be interested. You can't be everything to all people. You become nothing to anybody, as they say. So so there's 2 pieces of content to get the most engagement, are the videos and the live videos. And live video is a little bit, you need some practice there, because people get scared. Oh my gosh, my hair is not right. I got a frog in my throat today, you know, or gee, I just don't feel like doing this. But you have to do it. And that's tip number one. And you're going to spark conversation, and you're really going to this is going to give you a big boost in your engagement over Facebook. And that didn't cost how much, Jimmy?
Zero. It's free.
Free. It was absolutely free. Okay, so tip number two. Tip number two. So you need to leverage all the different things that Facebook has to offer. There's a lot going on with Facebook right now. Now you've got your personal profile. I implore you, update it, please update it, keep it current. And I met with some people yesterday, and they want to get into social media, but they're very private people. And I said, you need to have a personal profile on Facebook. But I think people have the wrong perception. You have so many privacy settings. It's incredible. And you can create a list, and only those people on your list are going to see what you do. The whole world isn't. And that's something that people don't realize. Oh, I'm a private person. I don't want anybody to know, what I'm doing. Well, they don't have to, because you create the list of the people that you want to receive your information. And your information then goes in only those feeds. So that's, these people were like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm sure a lot of people, and these people have been in real estate a long time, and they've avoided the social media. They've been working their database and other things, but they were delighted to know that, absolutely delighted to know that. So you've got that personal profile, and then you've got your business page. And this is where you need to do your business. And this is where you need to promote that business page so that it is in front of the right people. And when you promote your business page, you target your audience. And guess where I say to target? California, right? And then you've got Facebook stories that come across the top of the screen. And then you've got Facebook groups. Like today, I'm usually live on my group. I think all the time I'm live on the group, as well as YouTube. And there's so many pieces of the Facebook that you can map without spending a whole lot of money. You can spread all this around. So let's talk about how you leverage some of that. I'm reading from my notes, sorry. I lost my place here. Okay, so your business, that's right, your business page. So you're gonna do a weekly video, and you're gonna put it on your business page. Now you can share it if you want to your personal page, but you don't have to. It depends on who your list is on your personal page that you want it to go to. So that's just like an option B, if you will. So you want to attract business through your business page. So you need to have a search from your website so that they can click to search homes. And you can create a search for $100,000 homes, $200,000 homes, and you want to put that on your Facebook business page so that people that go there can search for homes, and search for homes on your website so that they see all the calls to action and they see all the information that you have there, and that you're an I call it an Uber local agent. You want to be an Uber local agent on your website. So, and then if you have a farm that you're working, that's a great area to bring together your Facebook group. So let's say, you're working the Ridges, just for the sake of example, or Green Valley, a subdivision in Green Valley, you can have a group. And then you can invite those people to come on to your group, and you can give them real estate tips via video. So using the group for your farm is really a good idea. And you can also have a VIP, you can call it your VIP group, like Teresa's VIP group. And you can invite people to join your group that are past clients or people that may be going to move from California here, and they can then be at no cost to you, start learning more about you. And when people know, like, and trust you, then they give you more business. And then you can always say, oh, by the way, and do the mayor campaign, which is?
Oh, by the way, if you were thinking of buying or selling a home, or you had a friend or family member who was, do you have a real estate agent that you'd send them to?
Absolutely. And if you're doing stories on Facebook, I would do a story and say that every day, because the story's gone in 24 hours. And again, I haven't told you anything yet that costs any money. So stories are here today. They're gone in 24 hours, and we're seeing a lot of people scrolling through the Facebook stories who aren't necessarily scrolling through their feed. So you have to go to where the people are.
I do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I do too. If I'm, out walking and I'll go through the stories and the thing about the stories is that you can just like flip through them. If you get one that you don't want to watch, you just flip through the next one and you're only wasting 5 seconds. So it's a pretty good piece of real estate that Facebook has for you.
And there are some people that are so good on stories. I look for their stories because they talk about relevant stuff. So there's a few people that I look for.
And so when people, yeah, exactly. You just took the words out of my mouth. They're intentionally looking at your story.
Right.
Right. So if you continue to give relevant, helpful information, they're going to look at your story. And then they're going to look again because they just saw something interesting. So that law of attraction is working. So let's see. My producer isn't here. Tip number 3. Tip number 3.
Before you go to tip number 3, I don't know how many tips you have here, but before you get off this, you made the comment that Facebook is rented ground, and you said you talk about that sometimes, and you talked about having a list and having groups, which you have talked about many times. How do you manage all these people, all these leads? Which groups do they go in, family or business or personal? And I'm wondering, I don't know. I don't want to malign Facebook when it might have been YouTube, but somebody just got turned off. Some major player, I forget who, because they made some comment about something the president said that Facebook didn't like or YouTube didn't like, and they turned off their channel. So when I have this, and like in my CRM, if I'm using SurveyMonkey or a lot of these CRMs, if somebody hasn't opted into you can't send them out stuff like Mobile Mix. Some of my texting tools, some of the tools that I use, somebody has to specifically say, I want in on this. How do I? That's my database. I pay for that. Those people have opted in. But if I get turned off on Facebook, how do I save all those people just in case they evict me? How do I save them?
Well, okay, so
you need to do a show on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one because it is rented ground. I mean,
I don't lose all those leads.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a very good point. And I have some answers. Okay. Tip number 3, review and repurpose your best content on Facebook. So now I know for a lot of folks, you've never posted the same thing more than once or twice, or you may have never posted the same thing more than once or twice on Facebook or once or twice somewhere else. So you got to think, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be spammy. I don't want to be annoying. Well, listen, I can't even tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday. I mean, people don't, and you think everybody's watching everything you do, and they're not. That's why you have to you have to repeat things. You have to be consistently repeating information and repurposing content. And that's a huge tip because it's overcoming that fear of saying too much or not saying enough or saying it too many times or being spammy. No, if I see you on Facebook twice say the same thing, I just say, oh, Jimmy, I saw that, and I move on. I don't think you're spamming me.
Well, also, if you have a thing that says homes between 2 and 300,000, say, and then you say newest listings between 2 and 300,000, it's still the same message. You're targeting people that want 2 to 300,000, but these are the brand newest homes. This last week we listed 85 homes between 2 and 300,000. Check out here to see the newest ones. You're still hitting the same audience, and it looks like a brand new message. It looks like you've updated your message, which you have.
Yes, right.
And it's
exactly.
automatically updated because MLS updates it.
Exactly. Yeah. So just overcome that. I think I see that as being the biggest problem. Like if you have an Agent Formula website, we post 10 times a day throughout the day, different content from your website that if somebody clicks on it, it goes to your website. Or somebody engages on it, you got a live one. You got somebody that's probably interested in Las Vegas. And so that's 30, that's, what is that? 10 times 30, 300 posts.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's
it is.
A month. That's huge. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot to duplicate anything because of all the content on the website.
Right.
So if you have a website that costs $59 a month, right? And you can't spend another dollar a day, right? $30 a month to get engagement on your website. I think you need to rethink, where you're spending your money, because that's not a lot of money. And if you can't afford that, you need to maybe do more business. And it's like the cart before the horse, right? Sometimes you got to spend it before you make it.
Or take your cable package down from Disney Plus and Hulu and everything else, and maybe just regular old TV. Oh my God.
Right. So, so we have these videos, Jimmy, that come out almost every day, and you're watching them right here, right now. And you may see this video. I posted again on LinkedIn, and then it goes on YouTube. So we repurpose our stuff, even though there's people watching it, it's live, but we repurpose it. And we don't get complaints. If people don't like me, don't watch me, right? If they don't like you, Jimmy, don't watch you. But people tend to, we find that sometimes people will watch something more than once because they found it on another location. It's just amazing, the human nature. And I think real estate agents sometimes don't think enough about the consumer. We're worried about ourselves, and we got to take our ego out of it. That's just the way it is.
Well, different platforms have different customers too. If there's something you repurpose to LinkedIn, it's not going to be the same viewer. They won't have seen it on Facebook. They're not on Facebook. They're on LinkedIn.
Yes. So. And Instagram. I mean, you can do a video and you can shorten it, do a short clip, and you can put in the comments to see the rest of the video. Click here, and it'll go to your YouTube or your Facebook or your LinkedIn or wherever the full version is. So you can take one piece of content and go across all those platforms, which that's to me one of the biggest tips. And none of what I've just said costs any money, unless you want to invest in a camera, but that's a one-time investment. But your phone works just fine. Your computer works just fine. And so these things are all going to make a difference if you're going to be intentional about it. And that doesn't mean that you can't schedule. That means you have to schedule. One of the things that we do all the time is we sit down and we look at what kind of content we want to schedule for next week. I had a hard time coming up with a blog for this past. Normally it goes out either the last day of the month or the first day of the month. And this one didn't go out till this past weekend. It was just because I didn't want to put the wrong content out, and it was hard for me to come up with the right content. And
the research you did on where the big money is putting their money.
Yes.
That's pretty intense content right there.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. But yeah, but it takes time, and I promised myself I'm not going to do that again, because there's always interesting things to blog about. But it just seemed like the market was, I couldn't put my fingers on the market. Then when I saw what was happening the first week of August, then I could do that. And so, but I advise everybody not to do what I just did. If you look at most of the blogs, they're the last of the month, the first of the month, and I was like a week into the month. So anyway,
tip number one was have a content plan. That was tip number one.
Yes.
And if you have a content plan, January you can do this, February you can do this, and a lot of the people we follow, Buffini's got an annual plan, Tom Ferry's got an annual plan. So January is this and February is this, and you could grab some ideas from him if you're trying to lay out your content plan, that was tip number one.
Yes, and you got to do that, schedule it a week ahead.
Yeah. And
you can do 3 or 4 videos on a Sunday afternoon and then post them for you have your video for all that month.
Yeah.
And then you have time to repurpose it.
Right.
So if people just think about it in a logical sense, and I know we're biological, right? Not logical sometimes. But anyway, that the first part of social media is the word social, and you've got to get active on Facebook. You just have to, and then you've got to repurpose your content to the other platforms, and that's all my tips for the day.
Okay.
Three,
yeah.
Right?
Three. It's the rule of 3. Yeah, I like it. It's not too many. It's a manageable number.
It is. And we had our Google business page class yesterday, and I invited a Google expert to come in, and he had some just awesome tips for the participants. And if you don't have a Google business page, you've got to go to just Google, get my Google business page, and it'll take you to the spot. And the first thing you have to do, because we're going to do this class again and get into the nitty gritty, but the first thing you have to do is when you come to the class, you have to have been verified by Google. And all that means is that you give them your address, and then they send the card, the verification card, to your address. And then there's a number on there. And then you go back on the temporary page and you put that number in. Now you're verified. Mm-hmm. And that takes 5 days. So before you come to next month's class, and we'll send out a reminder to everybody, make sure you've got a verified business page, or you're not going to be able to do all the things that we show you to do and teach you how to do.
Right.
But the first thing people do, everybody, is they Google you. And if you don't show up with a business page, so on the right-hand side, you need to show up. And then over on the left-hand side, they're going to see your LinkedIn page, your Facebook page, your Instagram. You're going to see all those other spots. But the first thing you need to have is they need to see that you have good reviews, that you have pictures, that you have a business. And that's a big tip, because I see a lot of real estate agents that don't have it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And even yesterday, we looked at those ads, and I took some of the realtors that were advertising, and guess what? They don't have a business page on Google. Mm-hmm. So
that's where people start. They Google you first. That's what they do first.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, that's it. We're going to teach a class this week, 10 to 1 on Thursday. Be the CEO of your life. It's one of my favorite classes.
Well, there's definitely a lot of content, and that's probably the one where we share the platform the most. And you have your strategies, and I have my charts, and it's just a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff, yeah. And you get CE credits.
And it's tomorrow?
Yeah, no, Thursday.
Oh, what's tomorrow? Today's Tuesday?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay. All right.
You're like me. Yes, I don't remember what I ate for breakfast this morning either.
All right, then I know tomorrow I have some committee meeting at the LVR tomorrow. So, but I'll see you Thursday.
Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.